the most effective way to handle the fear-based money objection on sales calls, the first thing that you need to understand is that it's most likely a mindset thing with the prospect. They're probably scared to move forward, which is completely fair enough, especially in high ticket when you're talking thousands of dollars for an investment. So the first thing you need to do that a lot of sales reps don't do is empathize and understand the situation that they're in and be on their side of the table, just like with every other objection handling framework. Need to understand that this is not the norm for them, spending thousands of dollars on a program, one-to-one coaching, an offer, whatever it is. Because us salespeople, we see that type of thing every single day. We see people moving forward, sometimes without even flinching, on 5 to 10K programs. I've been on calls and dropped the price at 15K and people are like, sweet, can you send me the link? And you're sitting there like, wow, okay. And then you'll have 10 more calls after that. People lose their minds over spending any more than 1K. So something you need to understand is it's not the norm for most people. So you always need to be empathetic, but at the same time, you do want to have that big brother or big sister approach to get them out of their own way. So the first step is to get on their side of the table with them. And a super popular objection that you'll hear is, oh, this all sounds great. Yeah, I love what you guys do. Really, really keen to get started. I just need to go and check my finances. And once I've sorted that, yeah, I'll move forward. Can we catch up like next week? The reality of that objection is it's most likely a fear-based objection. They've probably got some underlying fear that they're not being clear about with you. Because everybody that's watching this video, if I asked you how much is in your bank account, like ballpark, you'd probably be able to get it to the dollar more often than not within like the $100 or whatever it is. So an easy question to ask there is like, yeah, no problem, man. Like, look, if you had the funding, would this be the answer for you? And they'd be like, yeah. It's like, okay, cool. That makes sense. Like, do you mind telling me why though? And what you want to do there is try to prod and get even more detail about what they like about your program, your offer, your service. Then they're going to spoon feed you exactly what they like. If it's the one-to-one coaching, if it's the eyes over their shoulder, if it's the technology, whatever it is that they really like about your offer, your product, or your service. Because it's most likely a fear-based objection. If the money's there and they're keen, they like it, there's just something there that's holding them back. What you want to do there is kind of go into a bit of a cost of inaction framework, which is super popular. I'm sure we all understand the cost of inaction, which is just what happens if you don't. So a great question to ask there is, okay, like, just so I understand, what actually happens if you don't fix this in the next 1, 2, 3 weeks or months or whatever kind of timeline makes the most sense for your offer? What actually happens then? And then they're going to go back into the pains you're experiencing and not being able to achieve XYZ dream outcome. And what I like to do here is just kind of say like, look, do you mind if I just put my coach's hat on for a second and as someone trying to help you and talk through this a little bit with you? Be like, yeah, for sure. And kind of have a laugh about it. What I love to say here is it feels like you're making decisions based on a perspective that you have rather than a perspective that you want to have. Does that kind of make sense? What that means is everyone makes decisions based on their own worldview and the perspective that they have right now, today, on literally everything, if you think about it. And the really hard thing that takes a lot of courage is to start making decisions based on where you want to be or who you want to be. And the only way you get there is by actually being there and taking the steps today so that you can eventually get to where you want to go or where you want to be or who you want to become. For example, nobody loses weight until they start making the decisions that a fit person makes. The moment their brain becomes a fit person, their body follows. Same thing with business, same thing with athletes or anything really. I would bet that Usain Bolt had in his mind that he's going to be the fastest man in the world, which would have dramatically helped his mindset to actually become that and achieve that. It's the same thing with anything in life. If you want to start your own business, you have to think the way that a business owner would operate and think and go ahead and do it and make those decisions. If you spend your life thinking about it and never really taking action, you're not going to get anywhere. So what you want to follow up here is, so how do we make sure that when your head hits the pillow tonight, you know you've done absolutely everything you can today to put yourself in the best position possible to XYZ dream outcome? The reason I like to throw in the word today is it's kind of prompting like a decision today, not thinking about it, not sleeping on it, not checking the finances, making the decision today, right now on the call. That then leads into the skydiving analogy. If you need this, it's a great analogy I spoke about in my other objection handling video, which was I need to think about it. It's the same thing with people that go skydiving. No one's ever gone skydiving, landed, and the first thing they've said is, wow, that was awful. I hated that. I doubt like a very small percentage of people might have said that, but I've been skydiving a few times and it's an amazing experience. The only reason why those people are actually able to enjoy the skydive and check that off their bucket list and have an amazing time was because they took the steps required to make it happen. They checked out the website, they filled in the form, they went there on the day, they put all the kit on, they got in the plane, and they're sitting there in that plane, and then they decided to jump out at 10,000 feet or whatever. And being up there myself, like your body's resisting it. You're kind of looking at it like, my God. But when you do jump, you have this massive feeling of adrenaline, relief, and you feel safe. The point being is we have to make decisions to start moving forward and get things done. Again, you can kind of go into the health and fitness thing or the business thing or the athlete thing, whatever you need to do. But the overall arching theme here is you need to get the prospect to understand that their decision-making process at the moment is flawed. And it's most likely a fear-based objection. If the money's there, they're keen, they like it, there's just something holding them back. You need to fully dig deep and understand exactly what's holding them back and just chip away, like the onion method that Alex Hormozy talks about. Slowly chip away to alleviate that fear and reframe the mindset about what thinking about it and checking their finances and not taking action is actually going to do and how that's going to harm them in the long run. The only way you can do this is by having a bit of rapport with the prospect and having calm and inquisitive and curious tonality. You would not do this in an aggressive way. You would do this in a way that's coming at it from a helpful authority or a coach or someone that genuinely wants to help the person. I've been on sales calls where I don't think they're a great fit. I could have gone through this entire script, which works. It's great. It's definitely helped me close loads of deals. However, I don't think that they're a great fit. Don't think they'll be able to get out of their own head. So you kind of have an option to either practice your script and go for it or just leave it. But 9 times out of 10, there will be a good fit if you've done a good job during the discovery and the sales call. And at that point, you might go through this flow. So let me know how you go on your next sales call following this, next time you get a fear-based money objection. And I hope this video helps. Thank you.